In 2026, I will make more time for myself and the things I love. I'm starting this video with this sentence because it is honestly my biggest wish for this year. Last year, I began the year with this very ambitious list of games I yearned to play, but life had other plans for me, and 2025 ended up being the busiest and most tiring year of my life. It caused me a huge burnout, and it was the first time in my life that I had this many responsibilities and such a tight schedule, and I didn't really know how to manage it at all. I'd never been through anything like that before, so I didn't know how to balance work and making time for my hobbies. So in 2026, I want to set clear goals for myself in all the hobbies I have: reading, watching films, art, everything. I want to give myself room to enjoy things again without feeling rushed or feeling guilty. But this video is about gaming, my biggest passion and the one I neglected the most over the past years, therefore my priority for 2026. I'm hoping that by making this video and clearly creating a space for the gaming goals I have, I will actually stick to them instead of letting them disappear in my notes app once again. I also want to say that this backlog is not a strict, you have to play this and this before the year ends and complete X amount of games kind of thing that I'm forcing on myself. I think around 800 games that I eventually want to play, and I know that's not really doable even in a few years time. And if you ask me why I have such a huge backlog in the first place, you would be right to do so. I honestly don't know how my backlog got to this point, and well, I don't really even buy games anymore unless I'm immediately going to play them. I think the reason why I ended up with so many games is because I'm regularly gaming and browsing Steam ever since I'm 12, and back then, of course, I had an infinite amount of time, so I got everything that looks remotely interesting that I'd like to play one day. Honestly, the thought of slowly completing games from my backlog gives me joy instead of stressing me out. I'm saying this because I know the word backlog nowadays often sounds like something you have to get through, like homework, and some people end up pressuring themselves to play games they're not even in the mood for. I really do not want that. The whole purpose of me gaming is to relieve stress. I mean, I think that's everyone's purpose, like the goal is to have fun. I see my backlog as a place that simply holds the games I want to play someday, even if that someday is in 20 years, so I'm not gonna rush it and ruin it for myself. So the way I want to go about this is I'll set monthly goals and trimesterly goals, and I'll do backlog update videos each month. I already had a series where I talked about the games I played each month, and making those videos gave me so much joy and added even more meaning to this hobby for me, so I'll continue doing a similar thing as backlog updates. So my goal is to play at least 2 smaller games every month, around 8 hours or less from my already existing backlog. I'm setting this number low because last year we had so many good releases that even someone with all the free time in the whole world wouldn't have enough time to check them out, and I won't have the flexibility to check out 1 or 2 new releases every month. So 2 games from my existing backlog and probably 1-2 new releases a month, again on the shorter side, like not 15+ hour games. But I do want to complete 1 big game from my backlog every 3 months, like one of those games that you probably play at least 100 hours of. These are the type of games I've missed the most in the past few years. Since I didn't feel I could commit to such long games, I just ended up not starting any. So the big games I want to play the most, like the ones that immediately come to my mind when I think I wish I had more time to play games, are first Cyberpunk 2077. I pre-ordered this one, unfortunately, for my PlayStation 4, and you know how that went, and I just decided to wait until it gets fixed. I knew they'd fix it, by the way, I never lost hope, but ever since then I just didn't have the same amount of free time as I did back when the game first launched, which is a shame. So this year is the year I finally play Cyberpunk 2077. Then we have Persona 5 Royal. Honestly, don't have anything to say about this one except I'm just so in love with the aesthetics and the music already, and I'm a sucker for a high school setting and good writing, so let's go, I guess. And then I also want to play Days Gone. For this one, I know it's not really the type of game I end up loving, but I'm just really drawn in by driving around this huge map in my motorcycle and fighting zombies. I don't know, there's just something nice about a good zombie game once in a while. And I know this is a decent quality game because it's a Sony exclusive and because, well, I read reviews, so I'll probably enjoy my time with it. And finally, the big final boss is Hollow Knight. Now, I don't know if this is gonna be a Silksong or the first game. I know it should be the first game, but I just played the first 2 hours of Silksong for my channel and I was so in love with Hornet, so I really want to continue playing that. Like, I didn't realize how much the game hooked me until I stopped playing it, and I really wanted to launch back the game and keep playing it. I'm scared if I play Silksong first, then I'll never actually play Hollow Knight, so yeah, I guess I'll try to start with the first game. I'll finally do it. I don't think I'll 112% the game though, because I really don't think I have the talent for it, and like, I don't want to stress myself out, but we'll see. Maybe I'll be a Hollow Knight pro and I'll change my background on every device to Hollow Knight. Honestly, it's highly possible since I love the atmosphere in it so much already. So yeah, that's 4 big games. I might play more, but not less. In the case I find the time to play more, some other games I'd love to check out are GTA 4, Rune Factory 5, Hades, and maybe a Yakuza game. I don't know if they have any playing order to them or honestly anything about them, so I just want to have an idea about the Yakuza series. Oh, and before I even get to those extra games, I've been desperate to play Expedition 33 ever since its launch, but I know that if I went ahead and bought it, 1, I wouldn't even find the time to play it, and 2, even if I did create the time somehow, I would feel guilty playing it with so many other good games on my backlog. So after I beat the original 4 games I picked out, then I have a little reward for myself, which is that I get to finally play Expedition 33. I can also recommend doing this if you're wanting to play the games you already have in your backlog, but then a super cool new release comes out. You don't instantly have to play it. It can be your little reward, something to look forward to. I think life is so much better when you always have little things you really look forward to. For the short games, I don't really have a list because there's just too many I want to play, and I think I'm just gonna choose a game based on my mood, and honestly, I'm gonna be happy with anything I play. If you're watching this video, it's highly likely you have a backlog of your own, like you're probably not just a casual gamer, so I guess my only advice is to not stress yourself out. Your backlog isn't going anywhere. You bought all those games for a reason. You actually want to play them. But putting pressure on yourself to play them just puts you in this mentality that you should get them done with. And the games you once picked up with so much excitement now just seem like another chore. Humans are so weird. We make everything so complicated. I mean, I'm also telling this to myself since I was in the same mindset with my backlog situation at some point. Now I'm just really excited for all the masterpieces I'll get to experience this year. And I think this little plan I made will allow me to play both games I already own and also keep up with the new releases, which will help with the FOMO. I mean, we actually have some amazing games coming out. I've talked about some of the 2026 releases I'm personally super excited about. In another video, I'll link in the description or something if you want to check it out. And I also talk about the monthly releases on my channel each month, so if you decide to stick around and watch, I'll probably be contributing quite a bit to your backlog, so I have to advise you to not be too ambitious and to leave some space for new releases that might surprise you, like Expedition 33 did last year. Like, if you set a goal of playing 30 backlog games but end up playing only 10 from your backlog and 10 new releases, you'll probably feel guilty for no reason at all. So yeah, that's how I plan to tackle my backlog in 2026. I believe this past year I've learned my lesson and learned to set apart some me time for myself even when things are hectic. Otherwise, you basically just set yourself up for burnout and end up being way more inefficient, and I'm sure I won't make the same mistake of working myself too hard, right? Right? Yes, I won't. I'd love to hear about the games you're planning to play this year, if the word backlog stresses you out, or any other thoughts you have that have something to do with games and backlogs, honestly. Thank you for watching. I'll be making monthly backlog updates, so feel free to subscribe and stay around for those. It would be much appreciated, and yeah, bye bye!